What up, guys? Another Adonis review today, and today I'm doing Returnal. I'm excited to do this game. I think it's an interesting game to talk about and kind of go over. First off, Returnal is a PS5 exclusive. Surprise, surprise, another one on the list. And let's kind of break into first what you should expect if you end up buying this game, and then, the pros and cons of the game. So first off, the general plot and gameplay you should expect. You are this astronaut who gets crash landed on a alien planet, and essentially your main goal is to try to get off of it. But to get off of it, you need to go through 6 different maps, essentially. But the problem, the difficulty is that every time you die, you lose everything you've gathered in the first playthrough, and you have to start completely over. So most of the game breaks down to you kind of wandering around each specific map, getting the best weapons and perks and traits and abilities that you can to prepare yourself for the boss, so hopefully you don't die and have to do it all over again. You can literally, make a game that can be beaten in, maybe 10 hours max, let's say, and it can turn into a 30, 40, 50 hour game just because you died, and making a stupid mistake. So this game has been considered a lot, kind of like a Dark Souls type of game, a punishing experience. I've been told it's a little bit easier than how it first was, because they've given you a chance to suspend cycle, which allows you to kind of save and stop, rather than, I guess, not being able to do that unless you got to a certain point before. But it's still pretty painful. You can easily spend 3 hours doing something, go to one area unprepared, die, and, you start back to level 1 with nothing. You only hold very specific key items will come back with you once you die. But with that being said, this game still is a riveting, fun game. I'll kind of go into the positives and negatives of it now. First off, this is kind of one of the first main PS5 exclusive upgraded games. I don't even think they have a PS4 version of it. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that they don't. So it is, a fully dedicated PS5 game. So it is a very smooth game. Graphics look good, very high definitive, and the gameplay is very smooth and butter-like. It is a very interesting gameplay mechanics as well. A lot of the bosses, I don't know, I guess the way to compare it maybe be like near Automata. You can see here where bosses shoot lasers and balls and orbs, and they kind of go in all different places, and a lot of the gameplay is you kind of running and gunning at full speed while you dip, dodge, duck, and dive balls and lasers and whatnot. So it's a game where, if you're very reactional and can, able to pay attention to your environment, you can survive easily. It's never extremely tough. But eventually, if you can easily get distracted or, aren't paying attention to what you're doing, you can get hit by something from the left, and, that can take you out. But it's never too extremely difficult. Like I said, it's just, can you not make a mistake after 3 hours of playing? That's like the main thing here. But with that being said, every time I did play it, I could easily get engrossed, 2-3 hours into it, with no boredom. It is an extremely fun game, with the main downside, just the slap in the face that you feel if you do die and have to fucking repeat everything you did already. I will say, if you didn't know this, there is a kind of a hack to get around it for PS5. This is only for PS5, but there is a hack to get around it. I think you can only do, though, if you're like a PlayStation Plus member, where you can kind of save and upload your save data, and it allows you kind of to create a save point that's forever existent. For those people who want to make it a bit easier on themselves. You still have to be good and beat the game, but, it could definitely save you, tens of hours if you decide to look that little cheat out and do it. Now, without that being said, the only negatives beyond that, the painful of having to repeat, things that you've done all over again. I went to the story is a little bit lackluster. There's some shining lights in it that I think, are well played out, but there's definitely some parts where I'm just like, I just kind of felt like the story almost didn't exist at some point. In the beginning of the game, you kind of feel like there is a great story to be told, and you're interested to kind of find out where it leads. Like there's this house that it's your house that you kind of always go back to that's kind of sprinkled in the middle of the map, that creates curiosity to where it leads. And I just feel like every time I ended up going there in the future, it just kind of got boring and slow, and I realized I didn't really want to even really go in there. I kind of felt forced to, because I was hoping that I'd get something good out of it, but eventually this felt forced and slow and kind of broke the fast-paced game that I was enjoying. So the story is kind of a lackluster piece of it, that's the main downfall, but the gameplay, I say, overall is pretty solid. Like I said, the graphics are good, and it's pretty enjoying, like I said, unless you die and break your head and you're easily fucking get frustrated, because it can be frustrating to even the most relaxed of people. But overall, this game is also a great game that you can play with a friend as well. It is a co-op game, so you could do this all with someone else, which is another big positive of the game. Typically, this game doesn't go down in price too often. I think $40 is probably a realistic price you can see it for. I'd say it could be worth $40. It is fun, but I'd say $30 probably more so what I would wait for it to be, and you're probably more likely to see it for $30 these days anyways. Or you can be a smart consumer and pay $30 to upgrade your PlayStation membership, for a month or two, and get it for free, because it is one of the games offered in the upper echelon PlayStation Plus memberships. So you could just pay $30 or $40 to upgrade, play this game and Stray and Demon Souls or whatever for free, and get 3 games, 3, 4, 5, 6 games out of the $40, or you can pay $30 at once and just own this game for forever. But up to you. Overall, I think it's a good game. I think it's definitely worth playing, unless you just don't have the time to deal with dying and restarting all the time. But I would say this game isn't extremely difficult. Like with Demon Souls, the difficulty is more so in the fact that you can get one-shotted, which is frustrating. This one, your chances of survival are higher. It's not, an impossible game to beat. It's just that in the span of 2 hours, you could die and lose all that progress, which is frustrating. So it's just something to think about. So I hope this gives you some insight if this game is worth it for you. I think it's good. I think you should give it a try. But, how much will you pay to do that try? It's a question. Later, guys.